All right, here we go again, back with another special class video. This time we have Sledger. This is a new hybrid special classes that has a mixture of both casting and channeling skills. Most likely, a lot of players will end up using Goddess Treasure Fertility, which is one of the strongest anchor in the game that provide damage bonuses and cooldown reduction effects for both casting and channeling skills. Sledger is also considered as a dual classes, which player can unlock it on either the swordsman tree or the cleric tree. If you want to unlock Sledger on both swordsman and cleric trees, you need at least 2 special classes boxes. Keep in mind, this is a special class. You cannot unlock special class normally in the game. They are considered like a DLC or the pay to win kind of classes. Both versions of the cleric and the swordsman classes have the same type of abilities. The only difference between the two classes is that the cleric version have to use two-handed mace weapons, and then the swordsman version have to use two-handed spear weapons. Sledger has 6 different abilities, 3 for tier 1, 2 for tier 2, and 1 for tier 3. Tier 1 abilities include heavy smashings, rolling hammers, and sledgehammers. Heavy smashing is a channeling ability that lasts up to 5.2 seconds with 5-second cooldown. The skill also has a unique passive which reduces the cooldowns of Big Bang skill by 4 seconds per strike. Heavy smashing can strike up to 7 times, which means you can lower the cooldowns of Big Bang by 28 seconds for a total of 7 strikes, or 33.2 seconds if you're counting the channeling times of 5.2 seconds. Player can also cancel heavy smashing by using the jump command. This is only useful if you don't want to fully channel heavy smash or if your Big Bang cooldown skill is ready to use. Another cool part about heavy smashing is that you don't actually have to hit the target to reduce the cooldown. You can actually just spam the skill anywhere you want and it will automatically reduce the cooldowns of the Big Bang skills. Next up, we have Rolling Hammers. Rolling Hammer is an instant cast ability that can hit up to 5 times, but it also reduces the cooldowns of the Big Bang skill by 5 seconds. This is actually a really cool ability where you deal extra damage while dashing through multiple targets along the way. It also has an attribute called Positioning, which pretty much teleports your character back to the original position. I could not figure that out what is the actual use case of this attribute, but I believe this attribute was created for the players who does not want to move around with the Rolling Hammer skills. The third skill is called Sledgehammers. Sledgehammer is a passive skill that causes all your sledgehammer skills to ignore enemy defense. The ignore defense can go as high as 11.2%. In order to achieve that, you need to max out the skills, use the skill gems, and equip the Sledger Vaivora, and completely max out the enhanced attributes. So this way, by the time your skill reaches to level 7, along with the max enhanced attributes, you will get 11.2%. Anything above that is pretty much useless. Onto the tier 2 abilities, we have Charge Hammer and Swing Hammer. Charge Hammer is a casting ability which allows your character to charge up and release a powerful strike attack. Charge Hammer skill also reduces the cooldowns of the Big Bang skill by 5 seconds. The skill also has an attribute called Stretch, which works like a vortex and pull in 10 nearby enemy targets. This attribute is very useful for field farming and British dungeon. However, the pulling range is so small that I feel like the developer should increase the area range of these attributes. Otherwise, it is a really cool crowd control build-in effects for the skills. Next up, we have Swing Hammer. Swing Hammer is basically a channeling ability which causes your character to spin around and dealing AoE damage. This skill does not do a lot of damage, but it grants the user a powerful buffs under the warm-up attributes. Basically, what it does, it increases your character minimum crit chance by 10% at max levels. However, you don't even have to fully channel the skill to get the buffs. All you have to do is cast the skill and then cancel it by using the jump command or animation. Now, here's the fun part. You can actually get 45% minimum crit chance by having Zella BDI buffs with the level 10 Monarch's card. The level 10 Monarch's card gives your character 20% minimum crit chance. The Zella BDI buffs give you about 15% minimum crit chance, and then you get the 10% from the Swing Hammer buffs. That is total up to 45% minimum crit chance, and the minimum crit chance is very strong against high critical resistance monster and bosses. It doesn't matter if the monster or the bosses have 20,000, 30,000, or 100,000 critical resistance, your character will always have 45% crit chance against them. That is very strong. And lastly, we have Big Bang. This is a Sledgehammer's main abilities. It is considered a casting skill. It does a lot of damage. It granted user a fighting spirit buff, which increased the final damage for all the Sledger skills except for the Big Bang, but it also has a very long cooldowns. We are looking at the cooldowns of 2 minutes and 30 seconds or 150 seconds for a single skill, which kind of explains why auto skill has a unique passive that reduces the cooldowns of Big Bangs. The Big Bang skill also has an attribute called Ground Explosions, which create a crack on the ground, dealing 5% of the Big Bang damage per second for the next 10 seconds. Sledger Vaivora is pretty straightforward. It granted user 50% final damage to Heavy Smashing, Rolling Hammer, and Swing Hammers. And then at level 4, you get 100% final damage for the Big Bang skills. For the skill build, there is currently only one type of skill builds for the Sledgers. You want to max out Heavy Smashing, Charge Hammers, Swing Hammers, Slash Hammers, and Big Bang skills. You also want to unlock the Charge Hammer straight attributes, Swing Hammers warm-up attributes, and Big Bang Ground Explosion are attributes. And for the rest of the attribute, you also want to make sure you max out both normals and art and damage attributes. Sledger combo is actually pretty straightforward. All you have to do is use your Swing Hammer first and then cancel it with the jump command to gain the warm-up attributes. This will grant the character 10% minimum crit chance. And then you want to use the Big Bang skill for the burst damage effects and a fighting spirit buff to boost all your Sledger damage skills. After that, you need to spam Heavy Smashing to reduce the cooldowns of the Big Bang skills, and then use Swing Hammers whenever you run out of minimum crit chance buff. Now, before we move on, you are welcome to pause the videos at any time for the skill builds. The best class combination right now include Pontifex and Sledger with either one of these options. Database for this free SP reduction, cooldown reduction, and permanent silence against Wicked Boss Ray, Drew for the final damage buffs, and Healing Grass, Paladin for the healing effects, damage reduction, and extra burst damage skills like Conviction and Demolition, Gravix for the accuracy and block penetration bonus with a no defense debuff from Divine Stigma, Inquisitor for extra crit chance, convert enemy to double types, and Breaking Wheel combos. You can also go for Migos or Crusader, but I feel like Pontifex and Sledger is going to take up all your time to perform any of the combos, so there is no point going for those classes. However, I'm going to make a different videos that cover these specific combos, but I do recommend that you focus on using Pontifex, Sledger, and Druid class combination. This build will keep your character alive as much as possible while you are spamming Pontifex and Sledger skills. Lastly, make sure to use Divine Retribution art with Holy Flame Ichors until you have access to Goddess Treasure Fertilities. Anyway, that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later!